Yeah.
And the whole purpose of it was to ensure that children had a book about financial literacy that wasn't just a stuffy book, teaching them about a budget. It was about a story. And so
Yeah.
they could relate to the story. They can relate to the character, being a little brown boy with a fade and a high top, and
Right.
just seeing themselves in the stories.
In this episode of Off Duty Grine, we have special guest Jasmine Paul. Jasmine is an officer in the U.S. Air Force and the author of the award-winning book, A Boy, a Budget, and a Dream. She's a financial professional and hopes to empower youth and adults to have healthy money conversations early and often. How you doing, Jasmine?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much, Tyrell, for having me on Off Duty Grine. I'm excited.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, so I got one question. It's like an icebreaker for you. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Best piece of advice: save your money. Save as much money as you can.
I wish I'd have known that earlier too.
Right? We all did.
Yeah. I spent all my money on food.
I can't even, I don't even know what I spent my money on, but I wish I would have learned that the first time instead of like the third time around.
Oh, true. So tell us about yourself and your time in the military.
Yeah, so I'm Jasmine. I've served in the military going on almost a decade now, which is really crazy. I've been all over the world, had the opportunity to serve with really great leaders, really great airmen, and sailors and Marines and some Army soldiers. So it's been fun. I've been deployed in the Middle East.
Okay.
Served as an air advisor over there, and I've had a really great experience. It's been fun. It's been exciting.
It's fun. What motivated you to join the military?
Money. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think for the most part, I come from a military background. Both my parents served, and when I was looking at college, I was like, I have to get out of this state. I'm from the great state of Delaware. So I had to get out of there as quick as possible. And my mom was like, you go wherever,
Okay.
She didn't, she was like, go explore. I want you to live out your dreams. And so I went to North Carolina for school, and it was really, really expensive. I did not realize how much money it was until after I got there. And my mom was like, she called me my freshman year, like, okay, either you are going to find a scholarship or you're coming home, because I'm not going to allow you to get into more debt with student loans. So I joined Air Force ROTC and commissioned when I graduated. And so I initially got in because I, of course, needed the money to pay for school, but I stayed because I truly enjoy serving with so many amazing people, and I really care about the mission. I love service. Service before self is really important to me, and so this is my way of giving back.
Oh, okay. You say you went to North Carolina. It was like NC State?
No. I went to a small private college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In North Carolina. How did you, you already said how you earned your commission and you went to ROTC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So what inspired you to become an entrepreneur?
So I've been an entrepreneur since I was about 9 years old when I started my first business while we were overseas. So we were living in Japan. And my friend and I became business partners through a baking business. Oh, okay. And we literally, I don't know if you're old enough to remember Easy Bake Oven.
Oh, yeah. I'm 36.
Okay. Oh, never mind. You were very young, Tyrell. I thought you was a youngin' out here.
I'm almost about to retire. I retired after my next command. I'm done.
That's exciting. Okay. Yeah. I literally thought you were like 19.
Nope.
That's awesome. Good genes. That's awesome.
I appreciate it.
But so Easy Bake Oven. So we were literally selling these nasty brownies and the little round cakes out of the Easy Bake Oven, going door to door, selling these cupcakes. And so we graduated from the easy bake oven to actually using her mom's oven in the kitchen, and she helped us bake. And we went literally door to door. We had the entire, I would say, east side of our. We stayed on base, so the east side of our section, we had it covered. We would go literally from tower to tower to tower, selling it from the 9th floor all the way down to the bottom.
Oh, okay.
And we got shut down eventually because it was a public health issue. We didn't have our public health certification, so our food safety.
Yeah, y'all 9 years old, but
9 years old.
Yeah, go easy on them.
Right. But I was really inspired because I'm first generation American. My parents are Caribbean, and so I have several entrepreneurs in my family. My grandmother, she still owns a seamstress shop where she designed wedding dresses and tailored different suits for different functions and events. And I remember like customers coming in, and she would fit them, and there was this like relationship that she had with each customer, and she knew exactly how the garment was supposed to fit. And so I was in her shop, you know, at the age of 3 and 2, just crawling around and always seeing like, wow, she owns this. Like, she owns this building. She owns this space. She has the title. Like, I remember handing out business cards, like as soon as they were done, like, please hand this out to other people. And that was, I would say, between her and then my aunt owns a hair salon and still has owned it for like 30 plus years. And so between them two, just watching them maneuver in the space and seeing how all of my family rallied behind them. Like my mom was the voicemail on my aunt's hair salon. Like, she was the professional voice on there.
She doing some voiceovers.
Yes, exactly. Like, just how everybody really ensured that we were supported was so cool. And so I always wanted to be an entrepreneur ever since I was a little girl.
Oh, that's crazy. That's good. That's good. The whole family full of entrepreneurs. Like, I'm surprised you were selling that now, because like that's the hard part is selling, going out and selling.
Yeah.
So, but.
I was always a ham, like always entertaining people. Oh yeah. I was really into theater and drama, and so I can, turn it on real quick, turn it off real quick. I just love being in front of people, and I think that's been that's fun for me, being able to connect with others and just be yourself. Like, people want to see that, they want the authentic you. And so I believe I'm able to convey that to people. And I think that's why people trust me to buy my products,
Okay. Yeah, that's something I actually struggle with. I don't like being in front of people. So that's why I put myself in front of people.
That's good. Getting outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, getting outside my comfort zone. So, But,
that's a good thing.
So what's it like running a business while you're in the military?
It's challenging. You don't sleep.
Right. I know.
Literally, like, you don't sleep and you don't really have fun.
You don't have fun?
I mean, when I say fun, I mean, I have fun running my business.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't really get to, like, while everybody's having, going out and doing different things, I'm usually at home working on, a contract, or working on, this next meeting that I have to go to, or preparing an order, so I think it's fun. I think it's cool when, I remember earlier on in my career, I didn't really share about things that I did on the outside. Okay. Because I was like fearful of, what will they say? What will my leadership say? And I would say recently, probably the last couple of years, I was like, you know what? Like, this is me. Like, just let me be me. I'm this person. I'm out here in the community. I love to serve. I love to meet people. I love to network. Like, that's who I am. And so I started, just not really caring about what others thought of me. And that has been really cool because I've had so much support from my leadership. Like, the people in my office are like buying my book, and I'm like, yo, like, don't do that. Like, I ask you to buy anything. Like, do not buy anything from me. Like, don't do it. They're like, no, we want to support you. And I'm like, no, don't do it.
You just can't solicit, right?
Right. Yeah. Like, I'm like, I did not ask. Let's be clear. I did not ask you. And it's crazy. Like, I just got to my newest assignment, and one of the ladies that I work with, I guess she saw my name on an email, and then she called me and she was like, are you the Jasmine that wrote the book? And I was like, What? Yes.
Yeah.
How did you find out about this? And I thought it was maybe because somebody, shared it. And she was like, no, I saw it on Amazon and I purchased it for my grandkids. And I was like, oh, that's what's up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. So it's been cool. I appreciate the support. I think it's important that we support, our military leaders in their endeavors, and because these are the things that make them who they are. And so whether it's your airman, your subordinate, or your leadership, I think it's so important to cheer them on when they're doing something that's not quite the norm.
Right. I get you. Totally. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned your book. Tell us a little bit about your book. So it's called A Boy, a Budget, and a Dream. Yes.
So this is my second book. I wrote this book actually before the pandemic. I wrote it in November of 2019. And I did not know anything about children's books or illustrations or just how do you put together a children's book? Because there's so many different factors that go into it that a regular nonfiction book, you can just, get an editor, get a layout, formatter, and then publish it. Like that's it. But illustrations are a little bit different. Flow of a children's book is a little different. The market is crazy different. And so I've actually put it on my shelf for quite a bit until about May of 2020, when it was like, okay, you need to publish this. Yeah. And the whole purpose of it was to ensure that children had a book about financial literacy that wasn't just a stuffy book, teaching them about a budget. It was about a story. And so they could relate to the story. They can relate to the character, being a little brown boy with a fade and a high top. And just seeing themselves in the story, seeing themselves like, oh, my mom and dad, or, my parents, they gave me an allowance. Maybe I can also have some goals and set some goals really high and save up and learn how to prioritize so that I can reach my dreams too. And it was just to give kids hope, because that's what I know I had growing up. I had a lot of hope. And I know that's the reason why I'm here today, is because I had parents and family friends and family members who really looked out for me and poured into me and gave me this idea of hope.
Oh, okay. All right. Did you self-publish that book, or?
I did. You did? I was rejected about 17 times from different traditional publishers. And so I was like, all right,
just do
either you're going to be upset or just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
So I did it.
Yeah. That's how Jay-Z and Kanye, they can't get signed. So just do it yourself. Right.
Do it yourself. Yeah.
Was that process difficult? What was that process like?
Yeah, it was difficult from just the learning curve, because there's so many different, just different parts of the book. I have a 4-page checklist of all the different things that I need, because you need an ISBN, you need a layout formatter, you need the actual story to be edited, the manuscript, and then you need page numbers. How is the flow going to be once you turn the page? And so what I did was, and I recommend anybody, if you're interested in learning something new, go to the best, right? So I went to New York Times bestselling author Peter H. Reynolds. He is a children's book author. He has one of his children's book is The Word Collector. And he literally, I read his book from the library. I grabbed a whole bunch of books, over 100 books from the library, and just read good books, bad books, just try to figure out, okay, where can my book fit in this place? If it was on a shelf, how would my book be relatable? Would people actually pick it up? And so I saw Peter's book and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I loved it. And so I emailed him, and literally he emailed me the next day. I emailed him questions on how do I become a children's book author? I have a story, but I don't know what to do. And he literally gave me the blueprint to self-publish my book.
That's a crazy thing too. When you reach out, I reached out to I did music before, so I reached out to who I thought was a famous artist or something like that. I sent him an email because I wanted his artwork to be my album cover. And he was like, yeah.
Nice.
So I was like, what? It's crazy how you just reach out to someone, but you just got to take that step and reach out.
Right.
So that's Absolutely. Crazy. I was going to ask you, how'd you get in contact with him? But you just reached out. Yeah.
I just reached out. I mean, I feel like there's so many people who are willing to help. And I think we put up those barriers of like, oh, they're so unreachable or so unattainable.
Yeah.
And of course, like maybe Beyonce probably won't be able to get to it, right? But I really do believe that the people who are at the top, like it was somebody else who kind of pulled them along. And so they're willing to give out, you know, those gems or help or whatever. So I always DM, like I've DM'd investors. Like I went through literally, like I tweeted at somebody. She's like an investor for different startup companies. Okay. And I wanted help with my pitch deck. And because I was doing a pitch competition, and literally I slid in her DMs and she was like, oh, let's meet up. And literally she helped me with my pitch deck. Like we had 4 different meetings, and it was off of a DM.
Yeah, gotta do it. That's crazy.
Yeah, slide in those DMs. Not for romantic reasons, but for business.
Yeah, for business. Yeah, definitely. The last podcast I did, like most of the podcasts, I reach out to people and just like, hey, you want to come on? Stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. Have you always been passionate about finance?
No, not really. Yeah. I did when I was home probably a few years ago. I did find like a money book that I had, and I remember I used to collect coins from different states, like the quarters that were from different states. Yeah. I would collect them, and I had a money book, and I know that was like kind of one of my first exposures to money, but no, like I was broke in college. I was mismanaging my money in college. Like, I was not passionate about finances until I was like super, super broke my senior year. And it was like, all right, you can't live life like this. Like, this is unacceptable. You need to do something different. And so I made a promise to myself that when I graduated and commissioned, I was going to be better with my finances. And so that's what I was like. I had to be better because I mean, I would have no money in my bank account, and then I would go buy like some shoes for a party or something. And it was like $100 pair of shoes. Oh. Like, what's wrong with you? It was unacceptable, you know? Yeah. And so, I made sure that once I graduated, I got classes. The military is really great. They offer accredited financial counselors, usually at every base for the most part. If you go to, we call it the Airman Readiness Center. Yeah. But there is a center. There should be a center on your post or wherever your assignment is, where you can find an accredited financial counselor or a certified financial planner to help you understand your financial readiness and to set up a budget. So that was like one of the first things I did in graduating college was set up a budget. What were my expenses? I got some roommates. Because we didn't need, you don't need a whole place to yourself. Right. And so I was living, I think when I was living in California on my first assignment, I was saving about 60% of my paycheck, spending about 40%.
Oh, that's really,
yeah. I was like, by any means necessary. So I was like, there is no time to play. Like I played a lot in college. So it was time to be serious about, this is hard earned money. Like we're working so hard. And if you don't manage it well, you don't have anything to show for it. Yeah.
I think I was telling you before, I was eating all my own money because I would eat out like 3 times a day. And if you look at it like a meal, $10 a meal. So that's $30 a day. That's $900 a month. On food, like on food. I could have had like a Lambo or something. So just eat.
That's a car payment.
Yeah, it's a car payment. You just eating out, man. And I did that for I've been in for 18 years, and I say I've done that for like 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Right? So that's crazy.
It's important that I feel like I think now people are being a lot more open with. Sharing and being transparent. But I know when I first got in, you didn't really talk about that type of stuff. No one really shared that information. And so I'm so grateful there were people around. There's a guy named Dave Sholowitz. He's a real estate, on his way to becoming a real estate developer. And he was one of my good friends. And I would just be in his backyard, like listening to his conversations of, he had several duplexes, multifamily homes at the time. And I was like, how? Like, he was only about like 2 or 3 years older than me. And I'm like,
how do you,
this is possible? I could do this?
Yeah.
And honestly, from having those, like, I would say uncomfortable conversations, because they were uncomfortable for me, because I didn't even know anybody who owned multiple properties. Like, my parents owned their house, but like multiple, like you have more than one, and you're literally a couple years older than me. And so listening to those conversations and asking questions, like, I was able to buy my first property a year, like less than a year after I graduated college.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, just ask like with those conversations, you try to figure out what you're doing different than what they're doing, stuff like that. Like,
exactly.
what am I doing? What can I change? So
exactly. That's great. Yeah.
Definitely. So, how early do you think children should learn about finance? Like, is there a specific
as early
age?
as possible?
As early as possible, yeah. So you got the kid.
I would even say before they start talking. Honestly, you could start inserting little gems about money. Whether it's, of course, there's like, educational tools of when you should introduce money to children, like when you should introduce like a coin or a dollar bill, because that's safety, right? You don't want them to swallow it.
Choke on it.
But just like talking and verbally having dialogue about money is really important. So that way they visually can see, but also they can hear these conversations. So I would say as early as possible. I mean, I know people who are reading my book to their newborn child, It might be a little bit too much, because visually it might be a little too much going on, and it's not a board book. But I would say, by the time they're talking and they're learning new things, they're walking, they're trying to explore, you should absolutely start talking about like what is value and how, looking at like running water and just explaining like running water is important to our family. That's how we keep our bodies clean. That's how I wash you. Like if you're in the bathtub talking about, we have clean water, this is what we pay for, these are our bills, they of course won't understand. But having those early conversations, it's important, because I think a lot of times parents are trying to shield their kids away from, well, I don't want them to know things so early. But if you don't teach them at home, they're going to learn in the real world. And sometimes the real world is a credit card, a personal loan, student loan debt. And so this is an opportunity to teach them while they're still in your household. Yeah.
I think, I agree with you. Like some parents like shield, because like, say when I was growing up, like I know I grew up like in the projects and stuff like that, and in like whatever bad neighborhoods, but I didn't know that we struggled if we were struggling. You know what I mean? I had no concept of struggle. It's just living life. So so it's good to like teach kids about like, hey, this is what's going on and how can you better your situation. So I totally agree.
So they can know like the concept of work, and they understand like, mommy and daddy, or mommy and mommy, daddy and daddy are putting in, grandparents are putting in this hard work for you to have a certain lifestyle, for you to go to, practice at basketball camp or whatever, or, play piano or do these things. Like this requires work. And so I think kids need to understand the concept of work, but also the concept of, hey, you work hard. We also have these things that we can afford, like a roof over our head. We can afford running water, electricity. Like you don't have to go into like, oh, we have a car and TV. No, like simple stuff. Like you need clothes on your back so you can walk outside. You need shoes on your feet so you can walk outside. You need a roof over your head and something to sleep on, so that way you can wake up to be productive for the next day. Yeah.
I just thought about a conversation I had with my daughter. She wanted to buy something. She was like, just swipe your card. Like you got to have money on your card. I don't think she knew. She's like, just swipe it. Like, what do you mean just swipe it? Like, you can't just go buy stuff. Like, just let me swipe it. Like, no, you got to earn money and then swipe it. So like, exactly. It's not just a magic card.
Right. But a lot of people think that it is. Like, if you don't have, like, there's money, like, this is just the vehicle for the money that I worked for. Like, if you don't have the conversation, she's going to think, Why not? Just swipe it.
Yeah, just put your card in there.
Yeah, like the money comes from out of nowhere.
Yeah,
you know, and it'll keep replenishing itself.
Right. Do you do financial coaching as well?
I do.
Okay.
Yes. So when I first started my business in 2019, I was doing one-on-one coaching with young adults, specifically people who had about $50,000 or more in student loan debt.
Okay.
Specifically targeting millennials. And so now I've ventured into specifically talking to youth and parents about healthy money conversations. And so those are facilitated through group coaching. I also consult with schools, providing financial literacy curriculum in their schools, and then doing teaching and speaking engagements with schools and other organizations.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Can people book you? Like, can people contact you to book? Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Absolutely. They can head over to my website, createfinstu.com, and there's a little green bubble that says we can talk.
Oh, okay.
Speak. Yeah.
All right. So go ahead, check her out. Go ahead, book her. All right. So, all right. I also saw you're currently working on your PhD.
Yes, I am.
What's that experience like? I don't know where I saw it out there. I saw it on IG. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't think I put it on IG.
I just know I do a bunch of research. I'm like, yeah, I be doing my research. I'm like, where did I see it? I don't remember where I saw it no more.
I'm in my semester. I start semester 4 this fall.
Oh, okay.
6. So I'm almost done. I'm over the hump, which is really nice, but it's fun. It's cool. It's a journey. I'm ready to be done, but I think it's going to be great. It's, I was going to focus on financial literacy, but I opted not to. I'm actually focusing on single military members and how they transition. So really targeting the programs for single military members, because I'm a single military member, and I find that there are, there could be room for improvement when it comes to programs as people transition from assignment to assignment. Oh,
from different assignments, not transitioning out of the military? Or
correct. So just different assignments, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Okay. So, how do you get the word out about your business?
So word of mouth is definitely key. So just talking to people. I really, really enjoy talking to people, especially about money. And I find that that's a huge pain point for some people.
Oh, yeah.
People just, the statistics are $1.4 trillion of debt throughout the U.S. And so you're looking at, I believe, close to 50% of Americans aren't ready for an emergency of $500 or more. And so if you run into people, they're probably going to have an issue with money or some type of debt. It's more than likely that their financial, there's going to be some type of financial strife going on. And so I find that people are really open to talk about their money once I just set, the groundwork of, I am a certified financial education instructor. I was able to pay off my debt in about 18 months. I've helped 110 people pay off about $350,000 in student loan debt and credit card debt. And so I can also help you. Right. Let's talk. They're like really open of like all this stuff that's going on. And so that's just word of mouth. People share it, which has been really awesome, really grateful for them. Amazon has been really cool. I don't know the algorithm. I don't pay for ads. So I'm really grateful that, people are finding the book on Amazon and then they end up finding me or following me on IG. So, but I would say majority of the sales are from word of mouth.
Word of mouth? Oh, okay. That's awesome. All right. Yeah. What are some of the challenges you face running the business and how do you get past them?
Biggest challenge is burnout. And, sometimes you're just working so hard and it's like, man, I just want a W sometimes, And like, I think sometimes like other people would be like, what? You're winning all the time. Like, what do you mean? But I think as an entrepreneur and the person who runs your business and owns it, like there's just certain things that you want done and things that you want the look and feel to be, and you're just not at that place yet, and it can be very frustrating. So for me, it's just giving myself grace, and like, you literally are trying to do this with a full-time job, and you're finishing up, you know, a doctorate degree.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
in school,
like just have a little grace, you know. But I know, like, for me, I'm like, I want it done. I want it the way that I want it. And, you know, you just gotta chill a little bit and just, you know, I thank God for all the different successes that I've had. But I also thank him for the failures too, because there's been a lot of like, why did I do that?
Just learning experiences.
So
yeah, just learning.
Sure.
Yeah,
a lot of learning.
a lot.
Even though I have a master's degree in entrepreneurship, and this is my third business, it is a lot of learning. I'm constantly learning every single day.
Like, what are your goals? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years?
Oh, that's a good question. I really, really want to impact kids and parents in a global way. So working with global economics and trying to figure out the development of different countries when it comes to financial literacy, but also the socioeconomic backgrounds within those countries, and how do you uplift those that are impoverished? How do you promote different initiatives to help them to get to a place where they can be successful? And so that's where I see my company being a global consulting firm that really imparts initiatives and does the groundwork for just grassroots movements with financial literacy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hope get there. Yeah.
So, we gonna get there.
You gonna get there. Yeah. So, what resources are you reading or watching to grow your business?
What am I currently reading? Oh, I just checked out Profit First by, I'm not sure who it's by, but it's on Libby. The Libby app is awesome. Yeah. So if you don't want to purchase books, because I purchase a ton of books and sometimes I don't ever read them. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't buy my book. But for like books that I probably will purchase, I'll read them first at the library, and then I'll get them so I can highlight them after. Okay. But the Libby app is, it's a free app that you can download books from your local library or any library throughout the U.S.
I never heard of it.
So, yeah, Libby, it's awesome. It's free. Sometimes for like popular books, you'll have to be like put on a wait list just to wait for it. But it's a really good way to check out books quickly and not have to necessarily buy them, wait for them to come in.
Interesting. Gotta check that out. I always buy my books. Like, I always just go to iBooks and just grab them.
Buy it, yeah.
Yeah, but I can do that. Libby.
Yeah.
All right.
Libby.
What would you like to say to people who are trying to start their own business?
I would say just start.
Start.
You know, of course, have a business model, have a business plan, but you're always reiterating, especially when you're like in the iteration phase, like you're trying to figure out what works, what sticks, what doesn't. Just do it. You make a lot of mistakes. Like, I'm still making mistakes. I'm in my second year in business, in my third business, and I'm still making mistakes. And like, that's the nature of it. You're learning. And that's okay. But I would say if you have something that you're super passionate about and something that's really on your heart and you can't shake it, then you need to start. And don't let anyone stop you. I've had a lot of people who don't necessarily see my vision speak into my business. Like, well, you can't do that, or that will never work, or that might not be popular. And it's like people who never had a business before. It's like, please stop. Like, let me do this, and if I fail, I fail. But like, let me at least try.
Yeah, because they don't know. Yeah.
Like, so I would just encourage anybody, if you're trying to do something, try it. Yeah. What's the worst that can happen?
Right. I was making a video earlier today, and that's the exact video it was about. Just start. Like, don't wait and let perfection hold you back, because you're not going to be perfect from the beginning, like
at all.
But
it's
like if you just
perfect.
But if you just start, you have something to work from, and you can improve upon that until you have it the way you want it. But I had the exact same video. It's crazy. Right.
That's awesome.
So if
I will say, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you could go ahead.
I will say, when I was starting the business, I was so concerned about the name and like, the LLC, and is this gonna work? I was so like caught up in the details that I didn't think about like the actual business model. Like, what is this? How is this business gonna make money?
Right.
You know, what is it gonna look like? How is it gonna feel? Like, I was so caught up in like the minute details that I never started, and it took like months for me to start. And once I actually like got the LLC together and got the name figured out, I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Like, I made that to be such a bigger thing than what it was. It was not like, I thought it was so hard to get an LLC structured. It was so easy. Like,
you just go to your state's website. You can do it.
Get a name. Pay for the name. Do the form for the certificate of formation. And get a registration. That's it.
Yep. The hardest part is finding an available name. That's
right.
But
I made it so much bigger than what it was, and it was not like, it was like, oh, wow, I could have done this like a year ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, people trying to reach you, where do they go?
Absolutely. So you can always go to my website at www.createfinstew.com. That's createfinstew.com. Or check me out on Instagram. I share some relatively funny financial tips with my people out there. I love those guys. But like, let's talk, let's chat. If you have a financial question, my DMs are open. So let's connect.
All right. So is there anything you want to say at all to the audience? Anything you feel?
I would say, when it comes to finances, just don't be scared. Just like your business, just start. Even if it's like, hey, I'm in debt, or maybe you're not in debt. Maybe you're trying to figure out investing, or maybe you're trying to buy, your 10th property. Just do it. Just start. I think so often we talk ourselves out of certain things because we're afraid of the unknown, but especially when it comes to money, like, don't be afraid. You can always make it up. Like, if you lose it, you can always make it back. But I think it's important that you at least try and start somewhere and start today.
So great advice. I appreciate you for coming on.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me, Tyrell. I hope there's so much success with Off Duty Grine.
I appreciate it. Thank you. In this episode of Off Duty Grine, we had special guest Jasmine Paul. Jasmine is an officer in the U.S. Air Force and the author of the award-winning book, Go Get It, A Boy, A Budget, and a Dream. It's found on Amazon. All right. She's a financial professional and hopes to empower youth and adults to have healthy money conversations early and often. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.